Okay, meeting's called to order at 7:13 p.m. And so part A, introduction, that's an interesting word. Introduction of additional appointees to C.A.C. Youth Senior and Vacancy. So I kind of got some of you warmed up for that, and we will do that now. And so without any further ado, Sandra Turner Handy, the floor is yours. Go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra Turner Handy. I'm the lead on the Denby Neighborhood Alliance, and I'm also the president of the 9th Precinct Community Relations Council.
Thank you very much. Oh, and that's it's good to know, because I'm actually I go to like the 5th Precinct Community Advisory Council when I can, and 9th is the other one in the 4th District, is the other place in the 4th District. And okay, I'm sorry, I was I interrupting, or I didn't want to. More things than you wanted to say?
No, well, in my daytime job, I work in the environmental field, but basically I work on the built environment and redeveloping and improving District 4 on this side of 94.
That's terrific. And I'm thinking I might have a situation where I need to admit somebody. I'm trying to see how this, now I'm getting a different view of things. Let me just ask, I see, Ulysses, can you hear me? Okay, I'm guessing, and I do see a hand up from Paul, but then I see a photo off to the side. Let me just, Paul's got his hand up. Let me just see what he's trying to get across here.
Yeah, I just had a question.
Yes.
At the last meeting, you didn't have enough people for a quorum, and you're saying that you don't have enough for this meeting. Why aren't the people showing up, and what happens when they don't show up?
I don't know this time why they're not here. There is a minimum of 4 meetings required for the organization per year, and we schedule them monthly. I'd say anybody so far, as of this moment, we only have one person who's missed, where this would have been his 2nd in a row, and I'll need to follow up on that. But he might still show up. But for now, the general actions we have when there's a meeting scheduled, and this is actually in the municipal code, if there is not a quorum present, then we proceed to, we can still have a meeting of the whole, but none of the votes are formally binding. Okay, Mr. Phillips? And I am looking here. I don't see that I have anyone in the waiting room. I thought maybe I did. I had a picture pop up, and I wasn't sure why I had that picture on my screen. Okay. And then moving on then to the next part of things. And I think what I'm going to do here, we had, oh yeah, so we had the introduction of our senior member, and actually there's, even if she was sworn in today, there would not be a quorum because we need 4. But we'll address that. But I am happy to see that we are growing toward a full C.A.C. There's still an appointee position opening from the vacancy created by the small number of candidates in the election, and then there is a youth member that needs to yet be appointed. Okay, the next thing is introductions of the, I'm sorry, I gotta open this up again. Okay, next introduction of city council representative. And so looking here, I believe that would be Keisha McKinney. So we just welcome Keisha McKinney to the meeting, and she will be observing. Keisha, is there anything you wanted to say? Any news for us from the council member?
Nothing in particular, but I would like to announce we're having another shred day. This time we are partnering with what's the museum called, child? I forgot. Charles H. Wright Museum. They have been having some problems with getting memberships, so we partnered with them for our shred day. We know it's not in District 4, but we hope you guys will still come out and be a part of shred day, and get rid of some of those old documents that you've been holding on to, or been cleaning out your house during COVID. And it is on. Let me get the correct date for you. I want to say. Okay, Shred Day is on April 23rd at starting at 11 a.m., 11 to 4. So you can come, bring all of your confidential information, anything that you need shredded, to come and bring it there. They'll drop it off in the shred truck and it'll be shredded on site. But other than that, I don't have any other announcements. I'll be willing to take some more questions, but I'll be darting out about 7:30.
Okay, now, and that's the shred day, so it's actually 11 minutes from now. So I think I just want to make sure I take care of this. The shred. Okay, where's the location again? I'm sorry, I need to note this properly.
Charles H. Wright Museum.
Okay. And I actually have this. Was his last name spelled W-R-I-G-H-T?
Yep.
Okay. I know there's different ways of spelling right. And I don't want to get that wrong. Okay, I'm just gonna I actually put it in the chat also, just to make sure we all.
Okay, I'll put it in there with all the details.
Okay, terrific. Also now, I did have, and I know I'm not really, I think maybe I had overstepped before and kind of made too much of a back and forth between community advisory council members and you as representative, Keisha. But I did have a quick question regarding, since probably by the time we got to anything like this on the agenda, it would be passed. Since the charter does say, and the municipal code does say, that we're supposed to be informed about things happening in the district that involve a vote. I don't know if this applies or not, but when I was going up and down the streets, I talked to somebody who said that there was an and I've heard of work on 94 before, and actually Council Member Spivey spoke to a number of organizations about that. But I heard about something that sounded new to me, about 94 expanding way up Gratiot, like over by like Seymour and Gratiot area. Is there anything to that? Is that anything happening that way that you know of?
Not that I've heard of, but that doesn't make it true. I just haven't heard of anything about them doing anything on like expanding all over the Gratiot. I mean, like expanding the width, right? That's what you mean, right?
Right, but somehow it was connected to the 94 expansion, and obviously this would affect neighborhoods that were pretty far removed from the situation, if it's correct.
I can look into
maybe
it.
you could just ask if Council Member Spivey could get back about that.
Yeah, I can look into it. I know that there's a my son is in here. He's gonna be talking. I know that there's a email that they use just for the 94 expansion for District 4. So I can dig that up, send a couple questions over, and bring the response back.
Okay, thank you. Council community C.A.C. member, and I will refer to you that way, with even short of the swearing in. Sandra Turner, Senior Representative Turner, had her hand up. Was that intentional, Sandra? Is there something you need to say right now?
I was just going to say that the expansion on 94 is only for one lane on each side at this point.
Okay, and I had heard of that before.
Yeah, that's one of the things I work on. And it is between Connors and 14th.
Thank you. Well, that's helpful.
I thought you were talking about something like wider than that, but yeah, that was
I was. And I think maybe, it's entirely possible that when, I go through neighborhoods and I talk with people, that someone heard something and misinterpreted it.
Possible. They normally have meetings. MDOT normally has meetings maybe every other month around the 94 expansion. And I
Okay,
can get that information out to you as soon as they send me another update.
okay. Okay, I'm gonna share the screen with the, I'm trying to share the correct thing. I have where's WordPad? Trying to share the correct part of the screen here. Okay, I believe I know what I'm sharing. I think it's this one. Okay. Well, you might see something you weren't supposed to see, or maybe you won't. Okay, that's what you're supposed to see. Okay, so as you see here, we got the agenda, and I just wanted to make sure, because in a minute we're going to be talking about amending it. Okay, so I called it to order. I introduced our new Sandra Turner here, and we have, and then we also have, okay, any, okay, roll call. You know, I didn't do that at the beginning properly. Let me back up. Roll call. Gregory Creswell, you want to speak up and announce to everyone that you're here and say hello and any comments you have?
Everyone, my name is Gregory Creswell. I'm the elected official of the C.A.C. District 4. And if there's any questions to me, feel free to do it. I'll send out my email if you want, if you ask for it. Use the chat icon to ask me some questions. So that's it.
Okay. And when we get to the next step, actually right after the next step, adoption of agenda, I will respond to those people who had their hands raised. I wasn't ignoring you. I was just, well, I was temporarily ignoring you, but I wasn't going to continue to ignore you. We have now item C here under the call to order. I had introduction of guest elected officials. Are there any other than President myself and Gregory Creswell who are elected officials here? Okay. Next down, I have. Oh, it looks like I just saw something. I believe that means someone is in the waiting room. No, it doesn't mean that. It looks like something in the chat. Don't forget to keep checking the waiting room. Yes. And from here, it doesn't look like, I'm going to look at this from another view in case there's any way possible. I believe from where I'm at, I would see who's in the waiting room. This interface is a little confusing, I must concede. No, I'm going to enlarge. So I can't really share and do this at the same time, but I'm going to try. I don't want to leave people out. Absolutely not. Okay, no, I still don't see anyone new in the waiting room. I know if I do participants, let me just look at that for a minute. Oh, there is someone in the waiting room. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. You know what? This is a little less transparent than I thought it was, and I apologize for that. Okay, so now we are on to adoption of agenda. And okay, and I was first going to say, if C.A.C. vice chair, I mean, not vice, C.A.C. secretary, Gregory Creswell, had any changes to the agenda, I was going to give him first word since he's a sworn member. Do you have any?
No, I do not.
Okay, next, because she is the new appointee, Sandra, I'm trying to say the whole name because I only see part. Sandra Turner, trying to see the last part. What's the second part of your last name?
Handy.
Okay, sorry about that. Sandra Turner Handy. Was there any change to the agenda you wanted to make?
No, thank you.
Okay, next I will call on Paul Phillips.
Yes, what am I supposed to be doing?
You had your hand up.
Oh, no, you answered my question.
Oh, okay, it's still up.
Oh,
Okay, okay. Cookie Moore,
Hi, how's everyone?
doing good. I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I did. I just wanted to ask and Keisha about the shred day, and all I wanted to know was will they be producing a flyer, and also can anybody attend the shred day from any community?
Yep, the Shred Day is open to everyone, seeing that we partner with the Charles H. Wright Museum. And I do have a flyer. I can email it to you, Miss Cookie.
Thank
And
you.
then, I don't know if I can actually add it to the chat. I don't think I can add pictures like that, but I'll email it to the president and take it from there.
Okay, thank you so kindly.
Oh, no
Appreciate it.
problem.
Oh, and there was a couple things I'm going to bring up now, only because, and so I guess this is an amendment to the agenda, but what it amounts to is making an extra statement on my part. And that is simply that because Keisha McKinney here only has like another minute to go, I just really wanted to quickly bring up two concerns I promised to bring up while the representative of the council's office was here today. And you can just kind of take note of it and pass this on, but I promised that I would bring it up then when I was speaking to community members. One of them is over on Maple Ridge between Gratiot and I'm thinking it's Peoria. It's like the next street down Maple Ridge, coming eastward. There in that block. Apparently, I had one resident complaining of a very high amount of traffic, or what, maybe not a lot of cars, but them speeding, very fast driving vehicles. And in fact, even indicating that his son had died. I think he was pulling out in a four-wheeler out into the street and it got hit by a charger, by a car, and died. And apparently there is a big problem there, but there has not been any traffic mitigation, such as a speed hump, speed bump, I don't know, a regular traffic cop, anything like that present. So that's one thing I promised to pass along and say while a representative of the council's office is present.
Okay, so I'm not sure if that is the case where that just happened a couple weeks ago. But as far as speed humps, all of the streets that are going to be given speed humps have already been added to a list, which I think I can add that in the chat. I can add it in the add the link in the chat to show you all of the places that are gonna, all of the streets and blocks that are going to receive speed humps in 2021. So unless there's some other magical funding coming along, these will be the only ones that will receive speed humps. As far as an officer coming out, we can, I can contact the precinct and try to make that happen.
Okay. I think what the person would want me to advise is to then be on the waiting list for 2022.
Okay, so I'll add that as well. So for future reference, if you go to DetroitMI.gov, and then when you go to search, you go to speed humps, and I'm doing it as I'm saying it to make sure it's all of the correct steps. So you can do a speed hump request, and then you'll see a form there that's linked to a smart sheet. So through that smart sheet, it'll go right to the city, and they will have you on the list. So also it has by district which speed humps are going to be installed. So let me see. I'm going to send the link for both. The list. This is the list.
What I'm gonna do then?
Okay, go back in there, baby.
What I'm gonna do?
You're gonna go in there and sit down and play.
Mom, can you watch TV?
No TV. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then I sent the one for District 4, the speed humps plan for 2021. So I'm also going to send the speed hump request form in the link in the chat as well. So the request form is the second link. and the first
They
one is
should.
list
And I
all
believe I should probably be sharing that then on our website then to make sure. Oh, I do see the links. I'll
Yep.
need to record, copy those down, before the meeting ends and share those then. Thank you for that. The second one, there was another person who was spent considerable time talking to me and said she had been repeatedly reaching out to various officials. And again, I don't necessarily expect thank you for that response, but I don't necessarily expect it if you don't have one. It's just a matter of me passing on the information. A woman name is Jackson, and I think this was also on. Okay, this was on Park Grove, which is the next street over from Maple Ridge. 14652 was the address. She had a tree damage her house on one side, and I guess eventually it got cut up, but she still had an issue. She wanted the city to finish cleaning that up. And then she has an unsecured home on the other side of her home that she was very concerned people had been frequently going in and out of there, and she knows not what for, but she assumes it's nothing good. And just you can pass that on, or unless you had something you wanted to say about that.
Yeah, so what you can do is that you can give her my number, and then I'll go by and I'll take a picture of the home and add it to the list for the house to be boarded up. They're going to start back up with the board ups again, since it's springtime, and I can have her added to the list to have that home next to her boarded up. And also, the first thing you was saying that she had something else going on. What was the first thing? I'm sorry. The house you said was open.
Oh, it was a tree, and apparently it looked to me like the tree had been taken care of, but she was still complaining about it, so there might still be, like there were still logs laying around from the tree that apparently had hit her house, and from like a city or a land bank lot or something, the tree tipped over from.
Okay, that'll be something that I have to get pictures of and send off to the mayor's office. So.
Okay. Now about your number, is that something that you share, or I think I have it on a card, or is that something?
That's something that I share. I'll put it in the chat too.
Okay.
Or hold on, I can just give it to you now. So my number is 313-296-8738, and I'm also going to put it in the chat.
Thank you.
296.
Thank you very much.
8738, and then you can have her give me a call, and I'll come out. I'll take some pictures of all of the things and get it sent in for her. But also, C.A.C is a great tool. If you have some issues, the response is very fast. So I would suggest utilizing that tool, because honestly, when I get there, I'm going to be using that tool myself, and then I'll follow up.
C.A.C the same as the Improved Detroit app?
Yep, it's the same thing. Yep. So I'll follow up with the email, letting them know that it was me who sent it, and email me back a response, so what's what. So yes, just have them do that, and then I share my email address in the chat as well.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And okay, Letitia has her hand up. Yes, Letitia.
Thanks, Scotty. Before Keisha leaves, I just wanted to see if she saw the 2 questions that Paul and I had posted in the chat as it relates to the deadline for 2021 speed humps and the deadline for 2022 speed humps.
So I'm sorry, Letitia, I did not see that. But I'm not sure about deadline for 2021. I think that is done as far as I understand. But the deadline for 2022, I have yet to see a deadline. So I would just say get it in now, get it in before the summer ends, and you'll be on the list.
Okay,
but there were already people who were on the list that didn't. So let's say let's say we got 20,000 requests in, and then we were only able to fill 10 for 2021. We still have to fill those other 10 that remain. You know, so I can't say that if you put the request in right now that you will be for sure taken care of in 2022, unless there's some other funding that comes along as money donated to the city. You know.
Okay, all right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank-
Oh, and one thing from Ms. Cookie too, for board ups, do we still also do C-Click Fix? Yes, you can do that too. And then I believe there's a city email. They like to make email addresses just for specific things like sidewalks and things. So let me check and see if I believe there's one for that. For board ups. I think they call it like the board up brigade, I think. Let me see if I can find an email quickly. And if I find it, I'll add it to the chat. If not, I'll respond. No, I don't want to. I mean, you know, I'll add it to the chat. If not, I'll respond that I didn't see one. So I don't hold you guys up.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna, by the way, I'm not sure how screen sharing looks to everyone else. The way it looks to me is that I just see that you would just have the document and anything else I'm moving around would be in front of that, so that you wouldn't move around the actual Zoom screen.
Only thing we
in front
see
of
is the document,
You see me
Scotty.
moving the Zoom screen?
Only thing
Good,
we
that's
see
how
is the
it's supposed to
document.
work. I'm just making sure, 'cause there's some things I'm looking at that I realize maybe aren't fitting really just to have up there. Nothing really bad, just that. Okay, all right, so then we have the minutes. And Gregory, you wanna go over the minutes? And I guess I should have actually shared that too. Let's do this. Oh, I didn't realize I have to save this to open in the document. Okay, this is interesting. Hold on a minute. Maybe this isn't the way I want to go.
Scotty, while you're looking, I
Yeah.
could not find it in my email box. So if you sent it, I don't see it.
No, I thought I had them from you.
No.
Okay, everyone, hold on a moment.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop the sharing in just for a minute here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put us back in regular Zoom view and do this because I need to open up something else here then, because I thought for sure we had this right here. I apologize again. I need to apologize so much. It should not be necessary. I didn't know what I had sent them. And I do have minutes. Oh, I did. I sent them to the clerk. I have them. I'm going to get them up here in just a second. I'm sorry it's taking me this long. I do have them. I'll just display them and then Gregory can read them once I'm sharing them. It's fairly brief. I think I figured out how I'm going to share these two. I'm going to share them right underneath the agenda. Okay. I'm just going to share the screen here now. Double check again. Do I have any waiting room? No, it looks like we don't have any in the waiting room. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share the screen now. And same application. Okay, so.
You're not allowed to leave until you get served with this paperwork, okay, sir?
Okay, that should be a little larger. Okay, Gregory, can you see the minutes okay? I can scroll up.
Yes, I can.
Okay, and I know I'll have to scroll down after you go through this part. Okay, go ahead.
All right, president was Scotty, Dottie M, Donna M, Michaela, Dan, Beverly, Catherine, myself, Lamar, ML Everett, William, and Natira, that I can't pronounce his last name. Anyway, Karen, Danny, Keisha, and Braylon.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll scroll down a little further. Topic.
Yeah, okay, on the topics, Bradley and Keisha will receive an email about the issue of some standing water on East Side Drive in Creighton. And Bradley suggested contacting the water department. Beverly has some concerns about the progress when contacting the water department. Karen made the point about some water is leaking into an occupied property, and that within itself is a problem. Merle gave out her contact email and phone number. So did Keisha. Moving down, a comment was made by Danny about repairing bad sidewalks and who repaired them. Keisha stated that using these email addresses to contact someone should help. Sidewalk at detroitmi.gov or sidewalk repair. Someone mentioned the group United Community Housing Coalition. They may be of some help. Catherine spoke of traffic flow, purchasing homes from the land bank office. Karen believes that the land bank discourages new buyers. They charge $8,000 to $10,000 to reconnect the water. That has to change. Beverly commented about rehabbing homes and neighborhoods, etc. Some citizens in certain neighborhoods are cleaning up the streets, empty lots, boarding up empty houses, buildings, etc. And see, Scotty mentioned that the clear omission of the C.A.C. D4 on the city's website is still a problem. Keisha spoke about the Phase 1 survey project that focuses on parks and rec centers. About a plan of action, the city received about 4,800 apps for home repairs in certain areas. Citizens have between the dates of March the 1st and May 10th to request it.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay, thank you. I guess I'm thinking here, me and Gregory Creswell were the only actual members as far as the C.A.C. goes who were present at the last meeting. So I guess we're the only ones to approve it. And I'd say the only change that stands out to me is the need to that we need to have the full names of at least the members there. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go through there and update the names. And I don't really see any need to, actually, I'm opening something up here right now. I'm trying to remember. I was contacted about something. Now I'm trying to remember what it was. Okay, I just remembered it was community outreach ordinance. I need to bring that up, and I'll do it under new business. It seems like as good a place as any. So it's not really an amendment to the agenda. It's just something will put under new business. Okay, so other than that, I'm looking through here again. You know what? If someone else believes there's something that should have been in here, I don't need to be so formal as to only have myself and Gregory discuss this. Is there anything that other people participating in this meeting believe we really need to have in the minutes that are not in the minutes?
I don't know if you saw my
I
note.
mean, I'm talking about present. Okay, sorry?
I was going to say, I don't know if you saw my note. I didn't see a date on the document.
force. And that would have been in, let's see, would it be April, March. Was it the 12th last month also? I have to remember. March 8th.
March 8th.
March 8th, yeah. Thank you, Paul. Okay, any other, I'm trying to actually get this thing in a different view. Here we go. Any other, I'm looking for a hand. Letitia Johnson?
Yes, Scotty, just a point of clarification. Perhaps you will want to add the board positions on there because now I'm confused. You indicated like there were notes from Karen Knox, who I thought was on the board, but you just said that you and Gregory Cresswell were the only two board members that were present last month. So can you identify who the board members currently are?
I will be more clear about what I meant was the only people present today who were present last month. That's what I intended to say, and I'm sorry if that wasn't clear. I will go over the various officers now.
Thank you.
And they were and in fact, looking at the call to order now, this does bring in another factor. I was present, and Greg, I'm the chair. Vice chair person is Gregory Creswell. And the secretary, he wasn't present. I'll say it though without putting it on there. The secretary is Gregory. You know, that's wrong. I'm sorry.
Yes, yes. I was about to correct you, Scotty.
Karen Knox is. Okay, secretary. And the I only put in here also Karen Knox was present, as you correctly observed. She is the vice chairperson. And so we have myself as chair, the vice chairperson is Karen Knox, and I'll make note of the absence. Absent was Washington Usen. And he is the treasurer. We don't really have an account right now. So there really isn't anything for a treasurer's report as far as that goes, if anyone happened to be wondering about that. And we had discussed back and forth, and there was really no desire by anyone in the membership to move to have an account. I mean, I actually brought up the idea, but I'm just one guy. So, and the consensus of the group was that we're not doing anything right now as far as having an account. Okay, so thank you for that need. In fact, that is an omission from the minutes that we really needed to have that full role in there. Okay, anyone else present? It looks like Paul has his hand up.
Yeah, I just want for clarification. You said anyone in the group. No one in the group said that we needed an account. Who's the group?
What I meant by that is the Community Advisory Council. In other words, the four people that up until the date of this meeting were C.A.C. members, myself, Vice Chairperson Karen Knox, Secretary Gregory Creswell, and Treasurer Washington Usen, and he was present at another meeting where we discussed this. None of those people, and that's who I mean by the group, were moving to have that done.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Okay, so anyone else present who was present last week who wishes to bring up any other omissions or things need to be added to the minutes? Okay, Gregory, we're gonna have a roll call vote of 2, and I know it's like not really binding because we don't have a quorum, but Gregory, do you approve the minutes as now read?
I do.
And I do too. Okay, and so that moves us down to presentations, hearings, and discussions. I didn't have anybody send anything in requesting that. And there is something I'm going to bring up, but I really think I need to put it under new business. And so I think I will leave it at that for the moment. And we now will go to looking here. We have that's okay. That moves us to item A under presentations and discussions. What did I actually have in here? Oh, wait, that's from the March meeting. Wait. You know, I put this in the wrong place. I just realized I was putting this not in the minutes, but in the agenda. My apologies again. I got to move a couple things. I'm moving these down here now. That's where the minutes are. And this attendance roll call here. I'm also going to move down there. And actually, it wasn't omitted then. It was down here. Yeah, we had these people in here. We just don't have the offices in front of their names. So actually right now then I need to put in that Karen Knox is absent for today though. Let me do that. Okay. So yeah, moving on down, then we have the looking at my note here. Yeah, again, nothing set in advance. Okay, I guess it's the unfinished business number 5. And I don't think we really had anything, and you know, this is interesting. Oh, new is underneath there. Okay. I don't think we had anything unfinished that needs to come back right now. Well, maybe, you know, there's an A and a B to this. And the A is current community concerns and B was internal matters. So I guess let me go to A here because we have some people present who were present at the last meeting. Are there any community concerns that some of you brought up last week that you have a follow-up on? Okay. I'll take that as a no. And then next down, we had internal matters. And I don't really see any unfinished business as far as internal matters other than I'm going to have to really look into what's happening with the attendance by our fellow C.A.C. members about this and how to move forward with this. Because we had discussed a meeting date that was supposed to work for everybody. And, you know, the second Monday of each month at 7 and a meeting date and time that was supposed to work for everybody. And it really does not look like it is working. And I need to find out what's happening with that. I mean, that's something I need to follow up on. So that's what I would say, something unfinished, but there's nothing really for me to do with that here. And there is one thing I'm going to pull down and look at real quick. And yes, I do see your hand up, Letitia Johnson. I'm just, right now, I got to look at this, see if I don't have any surprise messages. I was checking my texts. Okay, Letitia Johnson, what did you need to say? Hello.
So I just wanted to ask you, you have Karen Knox listed as the vice chair.
Yes,
was she elected or was she an appointee?
She was an appointee, filling a vacancy due to a shortage of candidates in the election.
And she was the senior appointee?
No, the senior issues representative is Sandra Turner Handy, who is present right now. And we needed to elect people to their offices by a certain date. So we didn't have everybody who was, how shall I say, everyone who was, as of that date, appointed or elected, participated in that process, and everybody ended up with an office.
So I guess the part that's a little confusing on my part is that the councilman is allowed to appoint a senior and a youth person, right?
not just allowed, it's really the responsibility of the council representative, according to the city charter and the municipal code.
But he only gets 2 appointments.
Okay, and this was actually something, actually what you're bringing up, I guess, is a little more pertinent than I gave it credit for originally, because this is something similar to what Councilmember Spivey brought up when I brought up to his attention that we had vacancies that needed filling. Because while it does specifically say that 5 are elected and 2 are appointed, 1 senior issues representative and 1
Mhm.
youth member, it also says that it is the responsibility of the council representative of the district to fill vacancies.
Okay,
And in fact, by the way, the appointment of our senior issues representative, I got double check this but I believe actually it was up to the entire city council. And it became then the sole responsibility of the council representative if the body of the city council didn't make the appointment. Ms. Turner, was there a council meeting you're aware of where the entire council voted on your appointment?
No,
Okay.
I was at the council meeting, but no vote was done.
Okay, without the objection of the council or with their inaction, I will double check, but I'm pretty sure that it does still fall to the individual council representative, who would be Andrew Spivey for this district. So, Letitia, well, to follow up though, with the filling of the vacancies being in there, and this actually caused significant delay in us even having more than 3 people, was a matter that Councilmember Spivey actually brought to, and I'm sorry, I'm a little thick today. It's like the legal department, but there's another word for it.
Legislative Policy Division.
That's exactly right. The Legislative Policy Division. We brought up to the Legislative Policy Division the question of whether he was to fill the vacancies that resulted from a shortage of candidates in the election. And they said that, yes, indeed, he was. And so,
Okay,
the matter has been, as far as the appointments happening up to this point, it has also gone to the Legislative Policy Division. So I don't think there's anything unclear about it at this point.
so essentially now for this year, the councilman has the ability to appoint 4 people because
Correct.
there were only 3 people that were elected.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And while we're on the topic, here's some unfinished business. In a way, it's unfinished. I don't know if it's. Oh wait, no, I'm going to count it as new business, but it is something everyone really needs to know who's interested in community advisory councils. But let me first just look here and see if, because we're still on really, this is more actually fits closer to internal matters, but were there other community concerns that carry over from a previous meeting? Because otherwise it's new business. Okay, I'm going to bring this up then. And whether you want to think of this as internal old business or new, either way, it's important. There was confusion about the deadline of filing petitions for people who wish to be elected to the Community Advisory Council. As of this moment, I am only aware of 1 person who is out there circulating petitions to get on the ballot for Community Advisory Council. There might be others. I mean, it's possible to have, it's a standard nonpartisan nominating petition. It's possible to have them without going to the clerk's office and putting your name on something. And then you do need to do that to file, obviously. So there might be more, but as far as I know, there's only 1 person doing it. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because when people did do that, did go to the clerk office, and I guess this is one value in doing that, is then they could follow up with you and give you more new information. Otherwise, you might not get the new information. There was an error, and actually, yours truly caught the error and brought it to their attention, and they ultimately agreed I was correct. But that aside, the error was that they had published a document when they hand out the paperwork on filing and petitioning to get in on the ballot for political office in the city of Detroit. They had a page that had all the offices we usually hear about: mayor, city council persons, board of police commissioners, and describing all what their petition requirements were, as well as a filing deadline, which is April 20th, 8 days from now. For community advisory councils, they had a separate page that not everybody got unless you said you were going to petition to get in for community advisory council. There, they listed the deadline as July 20th. That is wrong. July 20th is if somebody creates a new community advisory council that had not previously existed. In other words, they're not in District 7 or District 4. And they succeed in getting that count, that C.A.C. legally recognized in time. Then people who wish to run for that seat in the general election this year can file petitions on July 20th. The way it works is new C.A.Cs, if they are created prior to an election, then the next general election, the members are chosen in. After that, C.A.C. members go through the process on the same schedule as other elective offices, meaning that the petitions are due on April 20th if you want to be a C.A.C. member in District 4. So you have April 20th is their deadline, 8 days from today. So anyone listening who wants to petition and get on for the C.A.C. position on the ballot has to have their petitions in 8 days. A week from tomorrow. That's when you need to have those petitions in, by 4 p.m. And you have to have a minimum of 200 signatures. You can hand in up to 400. That's the deal. Any questions about that? Okay, I just want to make that clear because it's the kind of thing that gets brushed under the rug, and then maybe people had seen that July date somewhere, thought they had all that time, didn't even bother petitioning, maybe helping out some other candidates to get on the ballot, and thought, well, I'll do this after April 20th, and find out it'll be too late. So that's why I'm making sure you know about it now. Okay, other new business matter. Again, I'm gonna first see, I guess if there's no objection, I can bring in the community concerns can be included with the public comment because we're already kind of running behind. Is there any public comment that anyone feels they need to bring in, or any community concern you feel we need to discuss before we get to the public comments? Okay, I'm gonna
Yes,
go directly.
I didn't raise my hand, but
okay.
I just have a concern that we've had so many meetings where the whole, I don't know what you call yourselves, the board or officers are not present.
Community advisory. Yeah, it concerns me too. I will be following up and asking people what we need to do to make attendance improve.
And what is, I'm sorry.
I don't understand it myself, why we don't have better attendance today. And on other days. I agree this is a problem.
And what is it, how many people do you need for a quorum? You mentioned
4.
So all of you have to be there for a quorum? Because there's only 4 of you, right?
Well, now as of today, Sandra Turner Handy makes 5. And even if she was sworn in today, which she hasn't had happen yet, I'm assuming she will be by the next meeting. We still only have 3 people.
Okay.
So that's the fact. And I see a hand up by Letitia Johnson.
Sorry, I just want to ask, do the current board members need to file to run for re-election for next year?
Yes, there is no incumbency exception anywhere in the city charter or municipal code. And I've that misconception. It's not the first time I heard someone say that. I remember not too long ago there was someone who was an incumbent who thought she would be on the ballot automatically after being well, an incumbent who was appointed to fill a vacancy on the Board of Police Commissioners, and was shocked to find out that she would have had to petition by a certain date to be on there. So I know it's not the first time I've heard that idea brought up, but there's nothing in the city charter or municipal code creating any automatic presence on the ballot. Our terms end when the next term begins, when the next election cycle comes around. In this case, actually, those elected in 2020, our terms end in 2022 at noon on January 1st. And that's because it was a special case. Those elected in this municipal election will be serving for 4 years. Did I answer that well? I see a thumbs up. Okay. Okay, so now here's the thing I wanted to get to. Oh, before I get to that, yes, Senior Representative Turner, Handy had her hand up. Yes?
But the appointees are okay, or do they have to be reappointed?
I am going to look at that, but I do believe it's the same rule, except you don't get reelected. But I will look that up.
But I'm not elected, I'm appointed.
I understand. That I'm not sure. I'll have to look up how long you're trying. I think there actually are specific terms, but rather than divert over and look at a document when we're already, at 8:10 here, I'd rather get back to you on that.
I can look it up. I'll find it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can tell you where I'd be looking is if you go to just the website I put up there, d4cac.org, and it redirects to a website about the Community Advisory Council. And off on the right, there is a menu link, and it says City Code. And if you click that, it gets the city code's version of things is all there. I mean, otherwise it would be in that particular chapter of the charter. But
Okay, thank
it
you.
actually links to that part of the city code, which, by the way, and there's so many different things to deal with that I don't know what the cause of this is. For some reason, that publication of the city code does not indicate that District 4 has a C.A.C. But don't worry, it needed to be published in the Detroit Legal News, and it was. We do have a C.A.C. So just to be clear about that, I don't know why that part of the city code isn't updated, but I believe everything else in there, especially terms of the senior issues representative being appointed, is specified in there. I know with the youth representative that when the person turns 18, there is a de facto ending of the term because the person no longer qualifies. But I'm not sure what it says for senior issues representative, and I do need to know that. I'm sorry I didn't have a quick answer. Yes, Zelda? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna look at some things here. Now what I wanted to get to again was there is something that was brought to my attention that sort of expands the involvement of the C.A.C. And I'm going to bring this up right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing a different screen to do that. Let me just get this correct first. Okay, why is it not showing up now? Okay, I'm having a latency issue with my internet again. Okay, this is better. Okay, I'm going to start sharing this then. And I can find the right part. There it is. I'm trying to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, there you go. Now you should be seeing something right now. It says Community Outreach Ordinance. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I do.
Okay, good. What I'm going to do now is I'm trying to make sure I can make this view a little better too. I guess I may not have too much flexibility in how this is displayed. I'll just leave it alone. You can read it. Okay, so what you're looking at here, it says Community Outreach Ordinance. And this is a presentation that was brought to the City Council. It's a process of community information, notification, and comment. And here it mentions sponsored City Council President Brenda Jones. So it says first, and I do need to link this to the d4cac.org website, but for right now I just want us to kind of quickly look at it. And it starts out, in fact, here, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put this link in the chat as soon as I'm done talking about it, because I want others to have this as well. It's okay, an opportunity for the community to be informed and provide comment on specific actions taken by the mayor's office prior to city council approval and administrative action. And by the way, there's only 25 pages here. Maybe I shouldn't read all because that would take a long time. But I do want to, I'll click over to the parts where it mentions Community Advisory Council. So I'll just read the headings as I go through. So it's asking, what is a community engagement resolution? And section 1 has outreach types, outreach notices, outreach meetings, and community engagement reports. And it has a part about different kinds of outreach. You can see they have a diagram here. Again, I'll put a link to this up on the website because I now realize it would be a significant amount of time for me to go through the whole presentation as a presenter. So I'll make this available. But there is a part here that is very specific to community advisory councils. And I'm going to click through to get to that part. Let's see, this heading says what is required for the outreach notice. And again, we have a diagram outlining that. And again, I will make this available for others to look at on their own time. But I do want to get to the part about, and this passed. So this affects us, and this has passed on the city council. Here we go. There we go. How must the notice be provided? And here we are. I will read this in detail because we're in it. City website, social media, or channel 10, that's one way. So it'll be on the city website. It'll be, I suppose the city has some social media accounts to display it on. And channel 10, which is if you happen to look up where to view city meetings, they have a video channel at the, connected to, it's not detroitmi.gov, but it's linked, you can link to it from there. And then we have email /text to residents and registration database. So those are, if you've been corresponding with anyone in city government, you're probably in that. And then here we go. Email text to city council and C.A.C. So, and of course, this is about notice being provided to me. I should have gone back up one. an outreach notice. So they're going to give us an outreach notice. We are in that loop. Okay, that's what I'm saying. The next part, hard copy distribution for 300 feet for in-person meetings and minimum 10-day notice requirement. So as far as our role in this process, as far as this page, this image goes here, this page, we're talking about the fact that we will get 10 days notice by email or text. And it's to city council and the C.A.C, so I would be getting that. Next part. And here we are again. Look at that. Community advisory councils. How must the notice be provided? And so the first item says the community advisory councils are community elected bodies created by the Detroit City Charter. Well, actually, were created by petition based on the Detroit City Charter, but I'm picking on the person's information. Next part, it was crucial that CACs be notified of outreaches to participate in the process and spread the word. So one thing I'm going to need to do is make sure also that we have people like those who are not attending, who are also CAC members, to know that they're also responsible for spreading the word when we do receive such a notice from the city. How must notice be provided? Due to financial staffing restrictions, additional spacing for in-person notification is not feasible. In other words, people going door to door, I believe is what that means. However, the community engagement resolution will urge an increase in the distribution of spacing upon future availability. Now, I'm not sure what else it says here about the role of the C.A.C, but that might be it. And so I'm going to look through this, and I will post this so everyone can look at it. As other ways to provide notice of events to the community. Here we are again. Again, the CACs and city council members representing the impacted neighborhood are also required to notify registered users to spread the word, ensuring maximum community outreach. So again, that's something that's become our role in this process. And again, I will post a link to all of this or upload the document and share it through the d4cac.org website. And then it also says what must occur at outreach meetings. And so there'll be administrative summary presentations and comments from the impacted neighborhood. And I'm going to click through. I'm looking at the clock. I know it's late. What must community outreach report? So let's see, detailed account of how outreach was noticed, itemized list of concerns, method to address or why not addressed, letters, comments, reports, and if provided, report from the established, there we are again, community advisory council representative representing the impacted neighborhood. So again, it would be, in other words, if none of us are in the impacted neighborhood, then I assume it's our job to contact someone in the impacted neighborhood. I guess that falls first on my shoulders and then on anyone else who's on the CAC getting involved. And there's a second section, and I don't think we're in this section, but I'm going to click through here. And yeah, I'm going to post this because obviously this is fairly lengthy. But as you can see, the Community Advisory Councils, while they still don't have we don't have a page on the website. We don't have our meetings posted there. They don't have other contact information. It looks like they are including us in something here. And I think it's important that I share this with the community and the other community advisory council members, so we can each study this in a more in-depth way. Oh yeah, they have different types of proposals categorized. They mentioned one of them, I think we're all well aware of, about bike lanes, for instance. And about speed humps. I've been hearing a lot about that. And surveillance technology. Okay, so these are all things that are these are, as far as the notification process, all the community advisory council members are going to be responsible for participating in the notification process as much as possible, and that is now been written into city law. So I'm just want to make sure that everyone present is aware of that. I'm gonna, and like I said, I didn't really do a full presentation because there's simply not time, and because also I can share this otherwise. I can post this online and you can download it from a website. I'm gonna open this up, and I think what I do now, let me stop sharing this for a minute. And I'm gonna go back to the, when I have something in here, and I just got a note here from member Creswell, and let me just open this up here. I'm going back to the agenda here for a minute. Okay, so I'm back there again. Okay, so we had, and I'm still actually, now I'm back down here with the unfinished business. I think that was kind of like, I don't really have other new business. I think that was really the new thing I came up with. Was there, this is old, the meeting's not going to be April 12th. Found error in the agenda. I know this is out of order, but it does need a correction. Looking at this right now. Okay, the second Monday of May will be May 10th. And I'm not trying to remember why that date stands out to me, but anyway, it may just be something specific to my own life or people I know. But incomplete, let's fix this. There. So the next scheduled meeting will be on May 10th. And it's, format or location of the next regular meeting. And, there's a bit of irony going on here about as far as where meetings are held, because I was attending a Board of Police Commissioners meeting where it was brought up that according to at least one of the rules about public meetings, that the option of having things online ended at the end of March, and the April meetings were supposed to be face-to-face. But apparently there was some exception in the law, which has since been applied, that we have continued to have virtual meetings. That coupled with the fact that the infection rate has not gotten any better in the state of Michigan. So why there would be a change in that direction seems like maybe just something based upon, I guess, nice expectations that things would be better by now, which I think most of us would have expected, especially given the preponderance of vaccines going around, that it is clear that so many people are still getting infected and even dying. But in any case, I think it's fair to say that a face-to-face May meeting is not realistic at this time. So I believe we're going to be doing it the same way. And again, I do invite people, if they want something put on the agenda ahead of the meeting, if you send in ideas that you'd want to be on there, we definitely can accommodate you and have that listed in on the agenda in advance of a meeting. And that goes not just to the people present, but anyone present may wish to talk to. And I do see, Ms. Handy, if you can, are you able to unmute yourself, or do do I need to do something?
Yes, I can unmute myself.
Okay,
I just, before you ended the meeting, I just want to tell you that appointees serve a 4-year term and they can be reappointed after that 4-year term. The youth person serves a 1-year term and has to be reappointed every year up through the age of 17 before they turn 18.
okay, that's, yeah, that is different than what I said, because in other words, they may actually remain on until they turn 18, but there's a new appointment process each year.
Every year for the youth, the senior advisor serves a 4-year term and can be reappointed after that 4-year term.
Okay, and that's interesting, because what that means is while you were appointed with the people elected in the 2020 election, you will be actually having a term that will end in 2025 ahead of, in other words, ahead of the 2025 election.
Correct.
Yeah, that's interesting. But okay, thank you for getting that clarified for all of us. Okay, and then the next thing is moving along. We're now on to well, I guess, okay, so we'll set in the meeting for May 10th at 7 p.m. And by the way, that it's pretty much automatic because this is a regular meeting, so it would require some kind of votes to the contrary to make it any other date and time. And obviously, we don't have a quorum to do anything like that, and that would be really a binding vote if it would be needed to do that. So, following just I just realized I think May 10th is when almost every character in the movie Identity was born, but that's why I think the date stood out. And also a friend had that birth date. Now I remember. Okay. Anyway, so that will be when we meet. And then right after this, we have public comment. And so, and then adjournment. Now, in case anyone has to leave early, and I've done this before, is there any objection to adjournment being automatic at the conclusion of public comment? Okay. Really, having a vote on it is kind of just, I don't know, perceive a formality that isn't necessary, given that technically it's not, we don't have a quorum, but I'm trying to stick as close to things as I can here. Okay, in that case, we're just going to move right to public comment. And I guess I'll just go by raising hands if you want to make a comment, and I'll call on people one at a time who wish to make a comment. Okay, Letitia Johnson has her hand raised. You may proceed.
Scotty, thank you for pulling the C.A.C. together in District 4. I am wondering if you all have the ability to email previous attendees just to make sure that they're aware of the upcoming meetings. I know they are the second Monday of every month, but do you have the ability to send out reminders?
Absolutely.
Are
The
you
reminders
capturing
coming? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just asking, are you capturing people's email addresses to be able to do that?
Yes. Sandra, do I have your email address? Because I assume I did, because
Yeah.
you must have been on the list I submitted to the council member, right?
Yes, and also you have an email, I think with my email copied on it.
Oh, also, yeah, the most recent one. But yeah, I believe we had a document of everybody who was eligible to be a senior issues representative. So I assume your name would have been in that document.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Also, and the other people present, I do have email addresses for. So Yes. If any of you believe that your email addresses have been updated and you didn't get an email from me, and now I realize some of you, I may have been using an email address that's no longer around anymore, like maybe from the Morningside group. Feel free to email me with your most current email address. And I'm putting the email address I am using most frequently in here now. I do still look at my Hotmail for those who send to it, but just to let you know, because Microsoft has gotten real stingy on the use of memory space by non-paying members, I'm trying to transition over to Yahoo, who currently is not doing that. The world can change again, it doesn't mean it's indefinite, but for right now, and I did put this in here right now, I do have, and okay, I do see a direct message I have also, but oh, you know what? I meant to send this to everybody. I sent it to only one person. Hold on. I'm going to change this. So what happens is I get something, and then if I post something else in there, it automatically just goes as a direct message instead of to the whole group. There we go. That's what I meant to do. Also, regarding that presentation I was just making, I will share this right now so you can have the link immediately. And I got to find my way back here to the correct application. Here we go. This is also going out to everyone. This is on the community outreach ordinance. This is the document I was skipping through rather quickly and incompletely that you can now take your time looking that over. And so I've now pasted that into this. Anything else, Letitia? Ms. Johnson? Mrs. Johnson?
Sorry. I was just going to say that in your Zoom link, like when you actually set up the meeting, you can have it set where people have to register. So they put their name and email address in to even join the meeting. I know you may know everybody on the call now, but like people who attended last month or the previous month, just so you're capturing people's email address to be able to send them monthly reminders.
And there is a Open Meetings Act issue created with that. And what it is that the Open Meetings Act allows for anonymous attendance of public meetings.
Well, that wouldn't prevent that, would it?
I suppose people could put in dummy information, and the Board of Police Commissioners has used that argument as to why they're actually doing what you just described. I just think that's kind of, I suppose if there were a way for me to do it with letting people know ahead of time, I guess I could. I'll think about that. I'll think about it, but there's got to still be a way I can do it where, and maybe it involves putting in dummy information, where it doesn't automatically identify the person.
I was going to say, or you could put in the body of the invitation an email address that they can utilize. Maybe it's your personal email address or something if they would like to remain anonymous.
Okay. I'll look into that. So that's something possible that I can do when setting this up that doesn't really require confirmation at this time. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, anyone else want to make a comment? If there's nothing more from Mrs. Johnson. Yes, Sandra Turner Handy. Sandra?
No, my hand wasn't raised. No.
Oh, I thought it was. Okay. No, you know what it was? I just saw things light up like you had just unmuted yourself to make a comment or something. Is there any comments now from anyone else in attendance? Okay. Just making sure I'm not leaving anyone out. And so in that case, I'm just going to do one last act here of copying over the complete chat to make sure anything in here that people have sent me that I make sure to look at in a timely fashion. And I'm doing that right now. And okay. Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay, I'm about to adjourn. So if there's nothing else, I'll adjourn. Anyone else have any last words for adjournment?
Everybody be safe and God bless everybody.
Okay. Good idea.
And good night.
Okay, we wave, yeah. Okay.
Good night, all.
Go ahead.
I said good night, all.
Okay. Good night, Sandra. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for the warm welcome.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay.
Have a good night.
Yep. Good night. Thank you, Cookie.